While doing the laundry for my wife, I accidentally found a train ticket to Daliang Mountain in her coat pocket. Only then did I realize she had secretly signed up for a 15-year teaching volunteer program behind my back. And her white moonlight was also teaching there. With half a month left before her departure, my wife had an abortion and terminated our child. She contacted her close friends, family, former colleagues, and held countless farewell dinners. Yet, she never told me she was leaving. 3 days before her departure, I quietly bought a train ticket departing from the same platform but heading in the opposite direction. On the day of departure, I boarded the train under her shocked gaze. I also handed her the divorce papers and evidence of her white moonlight sexually assaulting students. When Shen Qingyuan came out of the hospital, I knew our child was gone. I pretended not to know anything and watched her take the blood-clotting medicine in front of me. I casually asked, "What's wrong with you?" She paused slightly and replied nonchalantly, "Just a bit of a cold." I didn't expose her. I just reminded her, "You're pregnant, so you shouldn't take certain medications randomly." Noticing my calm tone and indifferent expression, Shen Qingyuan sensed something was off. After all, before this, whenever she felt unwell, I would immediately take her to the hospital, blaming myself for not taking good care of her. But now my reaction was too composed. She walked over, hugged me, rested her head against my chest, and asked in a soft voice, "Honey, why aren't you happy?" I push her away. "It's nothing. I'm going to take a shower." She must have thought she had hidden everything well, as she didn't question me further. Instead, she took out several boxes of leftover food from the fridge. "Honey, I bought your favorite crab and steamed pork with rice flour. I'll heat them up for you. You can eat them after your shower." Watching her eagerly put the dishes into the microwave, looking for praise, I smiled bitterly. Did she really think I knew nothing? Buying the train ticket behind my back, planning a 15-year teaching program, aborting our child, inviting friends, family, and former colleagues to countless farewell dinners. These leftovers were probably from those events, too. And she did all this for another man. After my shower, I noticed the microwave wasn't plugged in. I told Shen Qingyuan I had to work overtime and asked her to sleep first. Then I went to the spare bedroom and stayed awake all night. The next morning, Shen Qingyuan banged on the door. She asked why I hadn't eaten the food from the night before. "Guomingyuan, how could you waste my efforts like this?" Having not slept all night, my nerves were already strained and fragile. Her shrill questioning made my head ache. Naturally, I lost my temper and said, "You didn't even plug in the microwave last night. What did you expect me to eat?" Hearing this, Shen Qingyuan pursed her lips awkwardly. She turned and walked to the kitchen. "I made breakfast for you. Come and eat." It was always like this. Whenever she did something wrong, she would treat me exceptionally well for a couple of days. After washing up, I sat at the table and saw the rabbit-shaped rice balls and tamagoyki in front of Shen Qingyuan. These were things she often made for me when we first started dating. I never expected she would bring them out now to make up for her impending departure. I said, "Pack the tamagoyki. I'll take it to school to eat." Hearing this, Shen Qingyuan's expression changed, and she hid the tamagoyki behind her. "Don't flatter yourself. This isn't for you." Then she took last night's leftovers out of the microwave and tossed them in front of me. "Eat this." I was stunned. Looking at the sticky, sour-smelling food, I raised my head and stared at Shen Qingyuan in disbelief. "Why are you looking at me like that?" she said. "I bought this from far away. Don't tell me you want to throw it away. You have to finish it. Don't waste my effort." After saying this, she packed the rice balls and tamagoyki and told me before leaving, "I'll be back late after class today. Don't wait for me. I'll bring back your favorite food." The door slammed shut. I looked at the empty, silent house and dumped the food into the trash. Then I took out my phone and booked a train ticket for the same day she was leaving. Since she wanted to leave, I would let her go. I came to be with Shen Qingyuan because she pursued me first. At that time, I had just started my teaching position at the school. I was immediately assigned to lead the intensive program for the graduating high school seniors, displacing their original homeroom teacher. The students were displeased with me, and the other teachers had their opinions as well. Rumors spread that I was a relative of the school leadership, brought in specifically to gild my resume with their graduation rates. I was isolated, unaccepted, and spent my days alone. And that was how Shen Qingyuan appeared before me. She ignored the rumors about me, disregarded the strange looks from other teachers, and walked by my side. She said she knew the original teacher was replaced due to character issues and that it had nothing to do with me. She told me that as long as she was there, I wouldn't be alone. Over time, we grew to know and love each other. I prepared her lesson plans and brought her snacks every day. She would intentionally walk past my classroom during her classes just to catch a glimpse of me. We were in a tacit, loving relationship that led to marriage. At our wedding, I made a promise to love her, protect her, and never leave her for the rest of my life. 8 years have passed in a flash. I have not yet broken my promise, but she is the one who wants to leave first. I looked at the booking confirmation. It was for a train heading in the exact opposite direction from hers. Since it has come to this, let us be two lines that will never intersect again and never see each other for the rest of our lives. That night, Shunqing Yuan sent me a message. She said she went singing with friends. I could guess it was probably another farewell party arranged with someone. I replied with okay, no concern, no questions, and certainly no offer to pick her up. During this time, she would go out every few days, coming back at 11 or 12. If I rushed her, she would get angry. Can you give me some personal space? I already told you I'm with friends. Are you annoying, calling all the time? If you're so bored, go do the laundry, go mop the floor. There's so much to do at home. Are you waiting for me to do it? When we were in love, she would cling to me, her small body curled in my arms, and say sweetly, I just love sticking to you. How can being with friends be as happy as being with you? I don't care. I want to stick to you for a lifetime. You're not allowed to get tired of me. When the love was gone, a word of concern from me was, in her eyes, a chain restricting her freedom. So, why should I ask for trouble? But I looked at the time. It was already 2:30 in the morning. In the end, I still couldn't help but worry about her, so I called to ask when she was coming back. The call connected, and the other end was noisy with voices, the sound of music drowning out speech. I didn't hear clearly and asked again where she was. A loud bang came from the other side. I heard Shunqing Yuan's best friend ask her, Yuan, you truly are a goddess of pure love. How many years has it been since you and Qingjin broke up? With just one word from him, you're ready to drop everything here and accompany him to teach in a remote area for 15 years. But, hiding this from your husband, aren't you afraid he'll divorce you? Shunqing Yuan must have been drinking. Her words were a bit jumbled, but I still understood what she meant. Divorce? Since I dared to make this decision, I never planned on continuing with him. If it weren't for the fact that he can't live without me, why would I need to put on this act with him before I leave? A few girls laughed along. True, after all, you were the light of his life back then. I bet not only will he not be angry, he might even beg you not to divorce him. Yeah, with how he feels about me, if he knew I was going to teach for 15 years, he'd probably offer to wait for me for 15 years. I laughed, and as I laughed, I cried. The light of his life? Did she think she was Ultraman? Back then, I was indeed grateful that she appeared in my life. But just because of a premeditated act of kindness from many years ago, she expected me to throw away my dignity, to give up my self-respect, to willingly become a dog by her side. That I couldn't do. I saw Qingjin's photo by accident. She had hidden it for so many years. Perhaps she thought she was about to meet the love of her life. She brought the photo along to pour out her years of deep affection to him. In the photo, I saw a teenager in a white shirt, hands in his pockets, head tilted back, revealing a mole under his neck. It was in the exact same position as the mole on my neck. It was only then that I understood why she always liked to stare at me in a daze, why she always liked to kiss this mole when we were intimate, why she liked me to wear white clothes. So many whys were answered in an instant. She was looking at someone else through me. So, when she turned her back on everyone and walked toward me back then, was it because she genuinely felt sorry for me, or for some other reason? I had no way of knowing. But in the end, I had been with her for 8 years. In these 8 years, I fulfilled all the duties of a husband. I considered that I no longer owed her anything. I hung up the phone, since she was already determined to leave me. I didn't want to degrade myself any further. That night, Shunqing Yuan did not come back. The next day, the living room was noisy with chatter. I could faintly hear the voices of Shunqing Yuan's parents and younger sister. Yuan, I heard the conditions in the countryside are very basic. Mom feels for you. Here, Take all of these things with you. If you need anything, remember to tell Mom. Oh, Mom, big sister is going to volunteer as a teacher. This is a good thing. What are you crying for? Shun Xingyuan's father also spoke up from his side. Yuan, about this matter of you going to volunteer as a teacher, are you really not planning to tell Yuan? What if he doesn't agree? Shun Xingyuan fell silent. After a long while, she finally replied, I will leave without saying goodbye. As for what happens next, he can decide for himself. Hearing this, they all sighed. In the end, they still chose to respect Shun Xingyuan's decision. Although we feel sorry for that child, Yuan, you are our daughter. We support your decision, as long as you feel happy. Her younger sister also spoke up beside her. Big sister, we support whatever decision you make, because we are a family. A family? So, after being married to Shun Xingyuan for 8 years, I am still not qualified to be considered part of their family. In the past, their faint sense of distance towards me always made me think it was because I wasn't doing well enough. But in reality, they were deliberately distancing themselves from me, afraid that I would take Qinzhen's place. They all knew that the one Shun Xingyuan loved was Qinzhen, and I was just a choice made out of a lack of options. At this moment, I finally understood. Leaving me was not an impulsive act on Shun Xingyuan's part. It was the result of her careful consideration. I pulled the door open. Everyone's voices abruptly ceased. They stared at me in astonishment as I emerged from the second bedroom. Shun Xingyuan's pupils contracted violently. After a long moment, she asked with a trembling voice, You didn't go to work? I said lightly, The class schedule changed. I don't have class today. I had told her about the schedule change long ago, but she was so immersed in the excitement of going to see Qinzhen that she had completely forgotten. Then when did you wake up? Did you hear what we were saying? I walked towards the bathroom, a smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. What were you saying? Seeing that I seemed untroubled, Shun Xingyuan relaxed. Nothing. My parents came to see me. They're leaving soon. Not staying for a meal together? They waved their hands. No. We'll leave after putting our things down. We won't disturb you two's private time. They left in a hurry. Shun Xingyuan ordered me around. Since you're not at work, help me deal with these things. My head hurts so much, I'm going to lie down for a bit. With that, she went into the room and lay down, while I looked at the mess on the floor. Cold-proof gloves, fleece-lined clothes, bed sheets and quilt covers, toothbrushes, towels, and a medicine box. I sneered and went out. There were 3 days left until the departure. Today, the school leadership approved my transfer request. I needed to go back to the school to handle some things. The office. A male teacher I was on good terms with expresses regret. You're transferring so far away. This teacher should know. She will. On the day I leave. When I got home after packing, Shun Xingyuan was still asleep, and the things on the floor were still there. Her phone, left on the coffee table, was ringing nonstop. I picked it up and subconsciously tried to unlock it with my fingerprint. But the fingerprint failed, and the password was also incorrect. I gave a bitter smile. It made sense. Since she was preparing to leave me, it was understandable that she would delete my fingerprint and change the password. Perhaps because Shun Xingyuan hadn't been replying to his messages. The person on the other end called again. I answered, and a deep voice spoke. Yuan, I'll come pick you up the day after tomorrow. You can stay with me then, and I'll be able to protect you better. By the way, Yuan, can you bring some special outfits? You know, I've been here for almost 10 years. The women in the countryside don't know how to dress up. They're plain and ugly. I lose my appetite just looking at them. I've sent you pictures of the clothes. Make sure you remember to bring them. Noticing the silence on my end, Qinzhen finally asked, Yuan, why aren't you saying anything? Is that man with you? I curled my lips into a slow smile and said, She's asleep. This time, it was his turn to be silent. He had upset me, so I had to give him a little shock as well. And the effect was just as I'd expected. He hung up the phone. By the time I finished packing the luggage and putting in the spare bedroom, Shun Xingyuan had woken up. When she saw the mess all over the floor, a surge of anger rose within her. Yuan, I asked you to tidy up the living room. Why didn't you? You said marrying you meant I'd live a comfortable life. Now I'm just asking you to help me clean up a bit, and you're not even willing to do that. I looked at her. From the moment she decided to leave, she had changed. She had become impatient, short-tempered, to the point where my mere presence in front of her would make her angry. I didn't argue with her about this. I just told her, your phone has been ringing nonstop. Her pupils contracted. Wearing slippers, she walked over quickly to grab the phone. Seeing the unread messages, she looked up at me, suspicious and guilty. You didn't read the messages, did you? You changed the password. I couldn't look even if I wanted to. Hearing me mention this, Shun Qingyuan explained, She just, for a long while, but didn't come up with a real reason. I didn't want to hear her nonsense anymore. I stared quietly at her face, noticing the series of expressions born from her guilt. I began, Shun Qingyuan, actually, if you want to leave, I won't stop you. You really don't need to. Before I could finish, Shun Qingyuan interrupted. What nonsense are you talking about? How could I leave? Where'd I go if I left? Don't always make a fuss over nothing. My heart felt like waterlogged cotton, heavy and suffocating. This was Shun Qingyuan. Doubt her, contradict her, correct her, she would always deny it subconsciously and then turn the blame on you. The atmosphere froze. I broke the awkward silence and asked, Shun Qingyuan, are you leaving? Shun Qingyuan frowned. What do you mean, am I leaving? Where'd I go? Guoming Yuan, when did you become so petty? You were the one in the wrong in the first place, and now you. This time, it was I who interrupted her. I heard what you said to your parents that day. Shun Qingyuan's heart skipped a beat. A sense of panic rose out of nowhere. Yuan, what are you talking about? I said, I heard what you said to your parents that day. Shun Qingyuan panicked and grabbed my hand. Yuan, I was just talking casually that day. Don't believe it. I won't leave. I shook off her hand and asked her, not leaving? Aren't you going to volunteer as a teacher? Hearing this, Shun Qingyuan, as if her tail had been stepped on, hurriedly explained. The school ordered me to go teach, and I didn't tell you because I was afraid you would be sad. I'm only going for 10 days to half a month. I'll be back soon, really. My heart sneered endlessly. Even at this point, she was still lying to me. Guoming Yuan, don't forget, you were the one who said you would love me for a lifetime. I'm just going to teach for a period of time. You're not willing to wait for me? Don't forget, when you were isolated by everyone, I was the only one standing by your side. After so many years of marriage, every time we quarreled, she would always use the same excuse to shut me up. But as I said, after 8 years, I no longer owed her anything. I know you can go, I won't stop you. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her anymore. Until now, Shun Qingyuan still ridiculously thought I would wait for her. She was also still ridiculously deceiving me, wanting to use me as a backup plan, a spare tire. Even after 15 years, she was still confident that I would stay in the same place and keep my self-chase for her. But she was wrong. This time, I would not wait for her anymore. On the last day before I left, I had the mole on my neck removed. A black scab was left on it, which would fall off in a few days. I had already made things clear with Shun Qingyuan. On the last day before I left, I slept in a hotel. During that time, Shun Qingyuan sent me a message. Yuan, I'm only going for a period of time. Wait for me. I made a call to another person. I asked him, Qin Zhen molested a student. Is this news reliable? The other party replied, he was transferred here because of this incident. If it weren't for someone protecting him from above, it would have been exposed long ago. Okay, thank you. I'll treat you to a meal when I have the chance. After hanging up the phone, I looked at Shun Qingyuan's message again. I replied to her, I hope you don't regret it. The next day, Shun Qingyuan and I met on the station platform. She was originally on the phone, but when she turned and saw me, she hung up and walked over, her voice seemingly tinged with pleasant surprise. Yuan, are you here to see me off? I knew you were just angry. How could you possibly divorce me? I told her, I'm not here to see you off. Shun Qingyuan grabbed me, not believing my words. If you're not here to see me off, then what are you doing here? The crowd surged, revealing the luggage at my feet. Shun Qingyuan looked at the 2 suitcases behind me. She frowned. What do you mean? Are you going to volunteer to teach with me? I was evasive, something like that. It was just that her volunteer teaching was to be a teacher in the mountains, while my transfer was to be a vice principal in a village. If Shun Qingyuan had felt a trace of guilt towards me at the beginning, it all disappeared when she assumed I was following her to volunteer. Disregarding the public setting, she flew into a rage at me. Guoming Yuan, are you fucking sick? I'm going to volunteer to teach, and you have to follow me. We've been married for 8 years. Is this how little you trust me? Can you give me a little freedom, a little trust? I know I was wrong to hide this from you, but I was just afraid you wouldn't agree. Why do you have to make things so ugly?" She accused me with reddened eyes, as if I were truly some kind of perverse control freak, as if I would obstruct her from doing such a good deed for the country and its people. The people around us began to whisper among themselves. My train was about to arrive. Since I was leaving anyway, I didn't want to leave things unsaid. In front of everyone, I pulled the photo of Qin from her pocket. "Isn't he the reason you're running off to volunteer?" With that, I produced a certificate of her abortion. "Qin, I'm not saying anything, but don't take me for a fool. Our destinations are completely opposite. After I arrive, I will mail you the divorce papers. Oh, and Qin's secret, I'll send that to you as well. You're welcome." After speaking, I picked up my suitcase, and under her shocked gaze, before she could even process my words, I boarded a train going in the complete opposite direction from hers. As the train slowly began to move, I saw that Qin had also boarded. The time was ripe. I organized the document my friend had sent me last night and forwarded a copy to Qin. She replied immediately, asking what it was. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent the document to the Bureau of Education. 30 minutes later, Qin called. I answered to her hysterical questioning. "Guoming Yuan, is there any point to this? Just because I want to teach in a rural area, you frame Qin like this? I've known him for so many years. He could never be that kind of person. I was so wrong about you. I can't believe you would make up such lies just to keep me by your side. I won't believe you." She hung up abruptly. Having been with her for 8 years, I knew she was already starting to have doubts. If she truly believed it, she wouldn't have made that call. However, this would also be the last call. I blocked all of her contact methods. Closing my eyes for a short rest, my memory drifted far away. That time, I was preparing to propose to Qin. To give her a surprise, I deliberately didn't answer her calls that day, afraid I would let it slip. As a result, Qin, unable to reach me for a day, questioned all our friends. Because I had given them a heads up, they all said they hadn't seen me. Qin panicked, thinking something had happened to me. She ran to the police station to report me missing. Later, after learning it was a false alarm, Qin cried uncontrollably in my arms. "I thought something had happened to you. Why didn't you answer my calls?" She pounded my chest with her hands, her grievance melting my heart into a puddle. Cradling her face, I promised her, "From now on, I will never miss a single one of your calls. I will let you be able to contact me, to find me at any moment. I will never make you sad again. So please stop crying, okay?" But in 8 years, the promise was still there, but love had long since soured with time. She contacted me less and less, and her replies were always brief. She could always reach me, but I could no longer find her from the past. After getting off the train, the local leaders gave me a warm welcome. They took me to my lodging. Although it was the countryside, thanks to the development of the rural economy in the last 2 years, the township had long since paved its roads with cement, and life for the families wasn't too difficult. It's just that most teachers prefer to pursue their careers in big cities. The occasional teacher who was transferred here would also leave as soon as their term was up, leading to a dwindling number of elementary school teachers in the village. Often, one teacher had to teach several subjects at once. I shared a class with a female teacher named Lin Pei. She was a recent college graduate. I asked her why she was willing to come, and she told me, "This is my hometown. The community sent me out, so naturally, I have to come back to send the next generation out." She then asked me why I chose to come and when I planned to leave. For a moment, I didn't know how to answer. She could see my discomfort and didn't press the matter. After staying here for a few days, I was moved by the sincerity of the children and the warmth of the villagers, and I actually felt an impulse to stay. Especially with the children bringing me all sorts of little trinkets every day, the villagers greeting me and inviting me to their homes for dinner. They weren't exclusionary toward me at all. It was as if from the moment I arrived, they had already accepted me as one of their own. I just never expected that Qin would contact me. Over the last 2 days, she must have experienced firsthand Qin's reputation at the volunteer school. She must also understand now that the information I sent her wasn't fake. She sent me a long string of text messages from an unknown number. The content was more or less about how she had misjudged me, and she also explained the real reason why she had hidden from me her insistence on going to volunteer as a teacher. It turned out that she had initially thought Qin was suddenly sent to teach in the countryside because he had offended the school's leadership and was being isolated and ostracized. That's why, back then, she felt a sense of pity upon seeing that I was also being isolated. She said she wasn't able to stand by Qin's side back then, and my appearance happened to fill her regret. Now she finally knew the truth. The reason Qin left was because he had harassed a female teacher. He was supposed to be fired, but because he had connections, he was only demoted and sent to a remote area. Unexpectedly, Qin was incorrigible, and here he was even more of a local tyrant. Not only that, but Qin was also married. I had known all of this from the very beginning. From the moment I found Shun Qingyuan's ticket, I had already been secretly investigating Qin. My roommate, who graduated in the same year as me, was born there. I asked him to help me investigate Qin. As it turned out, he told me, "There's no need to investigate Qin at all. Everyone here knows him. He harasses female students and teachers all day long, causing many parents to not dare to send their children to the school and female teachers to no longer dare to come here. Moreover, in his first month here, he got the female teacher who came with him pregnant. The child is almost 10 years old now. So what exactly is love? I was married to Shun Qingyuan for 8 years, and just because of one sentence from Qin, she was willing to abandon me and travel to the mountainous region. Qin and Shun Qingyuan were first loves, but one married me, and the other had a child with another woman. Is it love? It probably is, but they don't want to love just one person. I turned off my phone just as Lin Pei came over, saying that the pomelos at her house were ripe and asking me to go back with her to pick some to eat at home. I agreed. On the way back, I didn't expect to see Shun Qingyuan. I wasn't surprised that she would appear here. We had been together for too long, with shared accounts and mutual friends. She could find out where I was with a simple search or by asking around. It had only been a week, but she seemed to have become much more haggard, her eyes filled with red streaks. When she saw me, her eyes instantly turned red. She came over, wanting to grab me, but after seeing my cold expression, she retracted her hand. And I was wrong. Can you forgive me? I can explain all of it. I was deceived too. Even now, she still wanted to use the excuse of being deceived. But it was a case of two people willingly playing a part. If Qin hadn't been married, if he didn't have a child, if she hadn't discovered she was deceived, would she still have come looking for me? I asked this question. Shun Qingyuan's eyes darted away. She knew the answer. Yet she still tried to deceive me. Yuan, I really do love you. Love? What right did she have to talk about love anymore? Shun Qingyan, from the moment you aborted our child, you no longer had any love for me. Stop deceiving yourself. In the end, you and Qin are the same kind of people. You can't let go of each other, but you don't want to wrong yourselves either. Shun Qingyuan explained in a panic, grabbing me. No, it's not like that. I never thought about divorcing you. No, you just never thought I would actually agree to a divorce. You were certain I would never leave you. Shun Qingyuan, we are over. If you're not here to discuss the divorce this time, then please leave. After 2 years of separation, I can also file for a divorce. Lin Pei, who was standing nearby, heard the gist of it and understood why I was here. She spoke to Shun Qingyuan. You're the kind of woman who wants to have her cake and eat it too. In the old days, you would have been drowned in a pig cage for this. The words were crude, but the reasoning was sound. I couldn't help but smile. Shun Qingyuan looked at the woman in her early 20s following behind me, let go of me, and rushed in front of Lin Pei. Who are you? Why are you with my husband? Lin Pei wasn't afraid of her and said, I am teacher Guizkali. Kali. Shun Qingyuan's suspicious gaze shifted back and forth between us, finally landing on the pomelos in our arms. Guoming Yuan, so that's it. I was wondering why you suddenly ran so far away. It was for her, wasn't it? You want to divorce me because of her, right? I was getting annoyed. Her unreasonable behavior and false accusations were happening in front of all the local villagers. I was afraid that someone would overhear and the gossip would spread like wildfire. I stood in front of Lin Pei and warned her, do you think everyone is like you? I came here simply because I never want to see you again. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I had never yelled at Shun Qingyuan like that before. She froze, her eyes welling up as tears began to fall. Hey, Yuan, I was wrong. No matter how many years you're in here, I'll wait for you, okay? Let's not get a divorce. I'm willing to wait no matter how many years it takes. As she spoke, she tried to move closer to hug me. But a voice from behind suddenly stopped her. Full of anger, Qin Jun grabbed Shen Qingyuan's hair, forcing her away from me. Yuan, didn't you say you liked me? Why are you trying to leave me? This was the first time I had ever seen Qin Jun. He was fat, with a beer belly and small, cloudy eyes. A mole on his neck, sprouting a single black hair, was squeezed between two rolls of fat. He looked nothing like his photograph. It seemed that after 10 years, it wasn't just feelings that had changed, but looks as well. Shen Qingyuan flailed her arms, trying to escape Qin Jun's grasp, but at 90 pounds, she was like a little sparrow in front of him. No threat at all. She could only turn her pleading eyes to me. Yuan, save me. Please save me. I watched the farce and said with an air of detachment, didn't you say you would have no regrets? That night, after I sent that message, she was the one who had said, never. I didn't expect Qin Jun to come looking for me that night. I watched as the stool he was sitting on teetered, afraid it would fall apart. I was curious. A friend had once told me his hometown was designated a poverty-stricken township. How did Qin Jun manage to stay there for 10 years and still end up so stout? But despite my curiosity, I still asked him what he wanted. Qin Jun crossed his legs and got straight to the point. You're the one who reported me, aren't you? I didn't deny it. To be honest, I wanted to leave that place for a long time. There's nothing there, just a bunch of unruly peasants. I glance at them a couple more times, and they insist I'm harassing them. So worldly. Not like the city girls with their thin waists and fair legs. Just looking at them is a pleasure. I frowned, not quite understanding what he meant by saying such things. Did he not understand the seriousness of being reported for harassing women and forcing a female teacher to have a relationship with him? Or did he think that by being reported, he could return to the city? Evidently, he thought it was the latter. It seemed that after a few years in the mountains, his brain had degenerated, forgetting even the most basic legal provisions. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, he rubbed his belly with a strange smile on his face. It's just that you made me lose my job, so I have to get my revenge on you somehow. Tonight, your wife is mine. He left as inexplicably as he had arrived. That night, I heard Shen Qingyuan's miserable screams and the sound of Qin Jun's perverted whipping. Undisturbed, I put on earplugs and went to sleep. The next day, Qin Jun walked past my door triumphantly, leaving Shen Qingyuan on the bed with a look of utter despair. She stared at me with dull eyes, tears streaming down her face, and slowly uttered a single sentence. I'm sorry. Shen Qingyuan submitted the video of Qin Jun assaulting her last night to the Education Bureau. Previously, the Education Bureau had already received evidence of Qin Jun harassing students and female teachers. But since the term harassment covers a broad range of behaviors and can be interpreted differently by everyone, the Bureau could only verify the facts step by step. However, with this video, coupled with the fact that Shen Qingyuan had only been teaching at the volunteer school for a week when this incident occurred, the Education Bureau paid extra attention. As a result, they meticulously investigated and uncovered that Qin Jun's uncle had been shielding him all along. The uncle was dismissed from his position, and Qin Jun was taken to court. During this period, Qin Jun's wife appeared in court with their child, stating that she had married Qin Jun solely because he had raped her, forcing them into marriage. After their child was born, Qin Jun continued to physically abuse both her and the child, with medical records of their injuries serving as evidence. This time, Qin Jun would not be getting out without serving 3 to 5 years in prison. As for Shen Qingyuan, after waiting for Qin Jun to be sentenced, she left me a letter and a divorce agreement. She said she was planning to return to the volunteer school. I've made a mistake once before. This time, I don't want to make another one. Yuan, I will change. Wait for me. I sighed, signed the divorce agreement, and mailed it to Shen Qingyuan. As for waiting for her, or anything else, that's a matter for the future. I'll leave it to the future to decide. 2 years later, I received a phone call from Shen Qingyuan. Her voice was cautious, as if she was afraid I would hang up the next second. Yuan, have you been well lately? I replied to her, very well. I plan to stay here for good. The other side was silent for a moment and then asked, is it because of her? That girl. I've already let go of what happened back then, and I can patiently explain to her. It's because I like it here. The children here need me. She choked with sobs. A yuan. I know. You still haven't forgiven me. I shouldn't have left you for someone like that back then. A yuan. I regret it. Let's remarry. These past 2 years, I haven't been happy at all. I wanted to contact you every time, but I was scared that you would say you don't love me, scared that you wouldn't want to see me. It's been 2 years. Can we start over? I refused. Shun Xingyuan, I don't love you anymore. This is a fact, but I don't blame you anymore either. Time cannot dilute everything, but will make people forget, become calm, and try to accept. On the other end, she burst into tears, like a pitiful person who had been abandoned. A yuan. It turns out, the one who can't leave you is me. As soon as she finished speaking, Lin Pei rushed in with a book. Teacher Gua, the next class is yours. The children are all waiting for you. I nodded, speaking to Shun Xingyuan. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I have to teach a class. I hung up the phone amidst Shun Xingyuan's silence. Lin Pei handed me a bag of Alps lollipops. Don't forget the candy you promised the children last class. I thanked her and then walked into the classroom holding my book. The students looked at the candy in my hand, and one by one they stood up and shouted, Teacher Gua, we love you so much. I smiled and asked the class president to distribute the candy. The students also know how to be grateful, and I have realized my value. Therefore, in this world, there are things more worthy than love. I also have the answer to the question Lin Pei asked me back then. To use my meager strength to send the children out of the mountains.